Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Joey Harris, and we are broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. Follow the show on Twitter and Blue Sky at Cup of Joe Pod. Email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. You can support the show at paypal.me/cupofjoepod. And if you want to just send me a little something as well, I am also on Cash App and Venmo at The Joey Harris. So 3 different avenues if you would just like to support the show monetarily, as well as patreon.com/babykangaroo media for bonus episodes of the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show, the Joey Harris Super Show, the Green Room, Book Club Baristas, and so much more. Just $5 a month for hours of extra content. Use the promo code Joey and you'll get 20% off your first month. So just $4 for your first month. And of course, now you can subscribe through the Patreon app as well as on the website. All of that. We just recorded a super show yesterday. I was with TJ and Tyler. Nan and I recently did a book club baristas, so many green rooms, Cup of Joe on Patreon, just so much. All of that, $5 a month. Just check us out for 1 month and you'll get 20% off. And I know that you will enjoy it as we have reached the busy season for me, folks. It's my busy season at work. I work in college housing as well as this upcoming weekend. My sister's getting married, so in wedding prep mode as well as busy closing down housing for the semester and the year mode. So just a busy time, but that's all right. Today we take a look at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable from the WWE. NXT TakeOver Unstoppable was shown on the WWE Network on May the 20th, 2015 from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. There were 400 plus in attendance. We start out with our WWE and NXT intros. Rich Brennan, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxon welcome us to TakeOver and will call the action. We start out with Tyler Breeze versus Finn Balor. This match is to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Championship. They show video of Hideo Itami injured in the parking lot, as this was originally supposed to be a triple threat match. Balor comes out in his demon persona. The crowd is wild for Balor. They chant holy shit at his entrance. Breeze does not look impressed. They start out quick and they trade moves and counters. Breeze with a side headlock into a takeover. Balor pushes off and hits a drop kick. Breeze ran into a turnbuckle, back and forth. Breeze with an enziguri to Balor on the apron. He beats Balor down in the corner into a neck breaker for a 2 count. Breeze with a leg drop and Balor kicks out. Breeze goes back to the side headlock takeover. They trade moves again. Balor with a running kick and a double foot stomp on the back. Breeze rolls out of the way of a coup de grace attempt. Balor with a running knee for a 2 count. Balor hits a sling blade. Breeze comes back with a supermodel kick for a 2 count. Breeze loosens a turnbuckle cover. They both avoid moves. Balor ran into the turnbuckle and Breeze hits the beauty shot for a 2 count. Balor rolls out to regroup. Breeze also comes out and Balor attacks Breeze. He throws Breeze in and hits a drop kick and the coup de grace to get the pin and become the new number 1 contender. We then get a feature on NXT Touring. Dana Brooke and Emma versus Charlotte and Bayley. The crowd is into Charlotte and Bayley. Brooke and Bayley start. Bayley tags Charlotte and catapults Brooke into Charlotte, who pie faces Brooke down. Bayley and Emma tagged in. Emma avoids Bayley. Bayley finally gets Emma down. Emma comes back and gets a chin lock on. Brooke tagged in and beats Bayley down in the corner. Heels quick tagging. Emma slaps and hits Bayley. Bayley comes back with a suplex. Brooke and Charlotte tagged in. Charlotte chops and kicks Brooke. Emma tagged in and Charlotte hit a double DDT. Emma gets her feet up on a charge. She hits a crossbody, but Charlotte rolls through and puts the figure 8 on. Bayley takes out Brooke with the Bayley to belly. Charlotte hits natural selection to get the pin. Charlotte and Bayley celebrate after the match. Rhino versus Baron Corbin. Flashback to what led up to the match. The bell rings and they lock up. Shoulder blocks to each other. Rhino dominates early. They battle on the outside. They get in only for Corbin to shove Rhino off the top rope to the outside. Corbin keeps up the assault when Rhino gets back in. He gets a 2 count, back and forth. Corbin is beating Rhino down in the corner. Corbin with a modified chinlock. They collide and both wrestlers down. A double count is going. They trade blows. Rhino with a series of clotheslines. He hits a spine buster for a 2 count. He follows it up with a belly-to-belly suplex. Corbin counters a gore attempt with a clothesline and hits the end of days to get the pin. Kevin Owens talks about how much success he has had lately. Enzo Amore, Big Cass, and Carmella come out and do their entrance, and they are extremely over with the crowd. They are taking on Blake and Murphy for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Blake and Enzo start. Enzo avoids Blake. Enzo with a crossbody and a dropkick for a 2 count. Cass tagged in. Blake and Murphy back up. Murphy and Cass go back and forth. Cass gets a 2 count. Enzo tagged in and gets a crossbody for a 2 count. Blake clotheslines Enzo from the apron to the floor. Blake with a backbreaker and a chinlock to Enzo. Murphy tagged in and he and Blake keep Enzo down. Murphy with a headlock. He runs Enzo into a corner. Enzo runs Murphy into the corner. They trade moves. Blake and Murphy hit a version of the Shatter Machine for a 2 count. Enzo blocks a superplex and hits a flying DDT. Blake and Cass tagged in. Cass cleans house. He gets an Empire Elbow, but Murphy makes the save. Enzo tagged in and Cass puts him on the top rope to launch him, but Alexa Bliss comes out and attacks Carmella for the distraction. Bliss knocks Enzo off the top rope and Blake gets the pin. NXT Women's Championship match, Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Flashback to what led up to the match. Lynch out first. She gets some cheers from the crowd. Banks comes out to a great ovation. She looks ready for action. They are face to face as a Sasha chant goes out. The introductions are made. The belt is presented. The bell rings and they lock up, back and forth. Lynch with a takedown for a 2 count. Lynch looks great so far. Lynch goes for the armbar, but Banks rolls out. Lynch works on the arm when Banks gets back in. Banks kicked out to the apron. Lynch arm rings Banks down to the apron. They fight on the outside. Banks chokes Lynch and ties her up in the ropes. Banks goes after Lynch's arm. Lynch with a quick roll up for a 2 count. Banks ties Lynch's own arms against her neck and pulls back. She tries to force Lynch to quit. Lynch fights to her feet. She drives Banks into a corner to break the hold. Banks with a knee into Lynch's arm. Banks with a wrist lock and then forces Lynch's arms backwards on the mat and it looks brutal. Lynch fights back, but Banks won't let go of the arm. Back and forth and Lynch won't give up. Lynch picks Banks up and slams her backwards. Lynch with a series of clotheslines. She hits a dropkick for a 2 count. They fight for position. Banks gets a pair of 2 counts. They trade blows. Banks thrown outside. Banks ran into a ring post. Lynch with a big suplex. Lynch works on the arm. She gets a 2 count. Lynch with the disarmor. Banks gets to the ropes. Banks pushes Lynch out of the ring. Banks hits a suicide dive, but Lynch catches Banks and runs her into the ring steps. She puts Banks back in the ring and goes up top, but Banks gets up and drives Lynch into the mat to put on the Banks statement. Lynch finally taps. That was a good match. Lynch looks dejected, and the crowd gives her a standing ovation. Flashback to what led to the next match, NXT Championship match, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Zayn out first and he is extremely over with the crowd. Owens comes out to a mixed reaction with a John Cena US title shirt on, alluding to the match with Cena coming up at Elimination Chamber at the time. He looks ready. The Owens reaction surprises me, to be honest. The introductions are made and the Sami chant goes out. The bell rings and Owens bails out right away. Zayn comes out and hits Owens. They battle at ringside. They get back in and Zayn clotheslines Owens back out and backdrops out of a powerbomb attempt. Zayn beats Owens all over. Owens comes back with forearms. Owens ran into the ring steps. Zayn punches Owens over the barricade. They fight out into the crowd. Owens backdrop back to ringside. They get back in and Zayn hits the Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. The Sami chant goes out again. Owens with some back elbows. Zayn with a half and half suplex. Owens counters a tornado DDT into a backbreaker. Zayn moves on a cannonball attempt. Zayn with an exploder suplex. But Owens moves on the haluva kick attempt. Zayn goes out and suplexes Owens again. Owens with a pop-up powerbomb on the apron to Zayn. Officials out to check on Zayn. Owens keeps on attacking Zayn. Owens is relentless and Zayn can't fight back. Owens throws Zayn into the ring. William Regal is out to stop him, and Owens attacks him. He grabs the NXT title and a chair. As he goes to hit Zayn, music hits and Samoa Joe comes out. A Joe's gonna kill you chant goes out. They get face to face as a holy shit chant goes out. Owens backs off and leaves. A thank you Joe chant goes out. They recap the injury to Zayn. Owens comes back out. Joe is ready and Owens says not tonight as they sign off from Full Sail. Final thoughts, a good show with the Women's Championship match and Samoa Joe's debut. You can follow me on Facebook, Threads, and Instagram at The Joey Harris. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast app. I would really appreciate it. We can also be found on Spotify and YouTube. Just search for The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you for joining me. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.